You're a high achieving woman ready to settle down and fall in love. Let me get a matchmaker, you might be thinking to yourself. But is that actually the best way for you to fall in love and get engaged? I'm going to give you the definitive answer as a former professional matchmaker, someone who's done a lot of matchmaking for smart women around the world, and who has also partnered with the world's other foremost matchmakers, who has worked with high achieving men from around the world, and who can give you a really comprehensive opinion on whether it's actually worth your money. My name is Malaika Neri. I help high achieving women fall in love, meet the right guy, and start a serious relationship leading to marriage and family. I have done a lot of matchmaking in my career, mainly because my students all asked me from the very beginning. I started my business just before COVID began, and so when lockdown began, people weren't meeting anyone. They weren't going to conferences, they weren't going to the office, and so people would ask me all the time, like, can you introduce me? So in today's video, I want to talk about what matchmaking is, what it's not, who it's a good fit for, who it's not, what you should do instead of matchmaking, and how to choose the best method to meet the right guy for you. So let me start out by saying matchmaking is one method. It's not the way, it's not the only way, it's by far not the most common way. Dating apps are the most common way for urban professionals to meet their partner, and this video is specifically for urban professionals, not for a guy living in like the middle of the Himalayan mountains. No, we are talking about high achieving women living in big cities around the world, maybe smaller cities, but cities. And these are my students, the guys I work with, and the men I've had in my database are also urban professionals doing extremely well, making multi-six-figure or multi-seven-figure salaries, incomes, and they have multi-seven-figure net worth. So these are wealthy, successful men. Most of them are self-made, so they're not like, they didn't inherit millions at birth. Most of them are from immigrant families or families that just worked really hard and over generations. So let me start by saying, what is matchmaking and what is it not? Now, there are a lot of matrimonial apps in India, Jeevan Sathi, Bharat Matrimony, Shaadi.com, and they will offer what they call a matchmaking package, where they will hire a young man in his 20s to go through profiles and like send you profiles that match your criteria. It's a vertical for them. It's just one of the products that they offer. It is not matchmaking. So matchmaking is only done by a human. It is not done by a machine. Like, matchmaking means a human. There is no machine. There is no algorithm. The minute you put an algorithm or a machine, it's not matchmaking. So definition number one, it's a human selecting people for you according to certain criteria. And what these matrimonial apps do is they will take a young, unmarried man who has zero dating experience. And I think the thing that I hate about those apps is that they use the caste system. The caste system has been illegal in India since 1948. So you have these Indian companies that are profiting off people who believe in the caste system, which is this legal system. Like, you cannot ever meet someone and say that person is of that caste. You know, the caste system, it's not like skin color or something. There's no way to tell what caste someone is. So it's completely in people's imagination, and they are inventing this fake criteria to help their clients find life partners. Like, it's blasphemy to me. And so I think what these businesses are doing is fundamentally illegal and disrespectful to the law, which is that the caste system is illegal. So that's point number one, and that is why what they call matchmaking is just marketing. Like, it's just because their clients are Indian parents, not the kids. The parents pay for matchmaking, and the matchmaking drives their business. So they have low packages, like low value packages, low ticket, it's called in business. which are just like maybe $50, $100, $200, and then they have matchmaking packages which the parents buy, which fund the business growth. And they use the word matchmaking because that is what the parents understand from the previous generation, when an auntie would bring two young people together and say, go on, reproduce, sign a marriage certificate. So matchmaking is not what these matrimonial apps do. And these matrimonial apps do not do matchmaking. Please integrate that into your memory. What matchmaking is when a human who is trained in an accredited university in human behavior and psychology, and has a database of professionals and has lots of dating experience themselves, helps you understand what you want and then sets up introductions for you. That is matchmaking. There are a lot of women around the world, but especially in India, who are just bored older women. They're stay-at-home wives who are looking for a hobby, and so they choose an unregulated profession like matchmaking. It's like baking, right? Anyone can bake cupcakes in their kitchen and sell them. Buy 6 cupcakes from me, and you don't need a license or anything to sell 6 cupcakes from your kitchen. Lots of people do that. Matchmaking is the same. It's an unregulated profession. So lots of bored housewives, stay-at-home women who don't have jobs, who don't have backgrounds in psychology, who have zero dating experience, who got arranged marriages, who have never been on a date in their entire lives, are calling themselves matchmakers because they need a hobby, and they treat matchmaking as a hobby. They're treating your marriage as a hobby. Run away from these women. They are not qualified. They cannot help you. They will introduce you to any random Tom, Dick, and Harry, or Raj, Rakesh, or Vaibhav, just because that kid says, oh, my mom is pressuring me to get married, and the moms will pay for it. And you know, these stay-at-home mom matchmakers charge pennies. So the minute you're paying pennies for matchmaking, get out of town. It's not worth your money. It's definitely not worth your time as a high-achieving Indian woman who needs to find a husband yesterday. Okay, so now we've covered what matchmaking is not and what it is, and how to avoid all of these hobbyists who are doing matchmaking. Number 3, when you are looking for, like, who looks for a matchmaker and who is that actually a good fit for? So what tends to happen is that we high achieving women, like, most of us start by going onto a dating app. Dating apps, most of the men don't actually want to get married. Many of the women who reach out to me have never dated before, like, at all. And so many of them come from very traditional families where they were introduced. Many of them had arranged marriages that didn't work out, because the basis of arranged marriage, again, it's like we share the same religion, we share the same caste. Again, illegal and complete fantasy. And we come from the same community, maybe we speak the same language, but that's it. Like, no shared values, no shared lifestyle, no shared life goals, no shared life projects. So no actual basis for a marriage. So, like, old school matchmaking was based on the fact that women didn't have incomes, and because women didn't have incomes, they couldn't divorce their husbands. But the minute women have incomes, they can say, hey, we have nothing in this marriage, you have no communication skills, this is a terrible relationship, goodbye. And so many arranged marriages these days end in divorce if the woman is just brave enough to say, this is terrible, and walks out. Thank goodness for her. So matchmaking, especially in Indian culture, went hand in hand with arranged marriage, which went hand in hand with women not having incomes. None of those systems make sense for today when women have incomes. However, most of the women who reach out to me say, I want a matchmaker because I'm just not meeting the right guys. But what is actually happening is that they are missing dating skills. Not matches, not men. They're missing something much simpler and much more difficult to acquire, which is dating skills. Now, dating and finding the right guy and knowing where to meet him and how to meet him and how to build a relationship with him is a skill. It's like swimming. You don't throw a child into a pool and say, now swim like an Olympic athlete. Like, you teach him over months and years how to swim, or her. And that's what I did. Like, I had a swimming coach, and that is how I learned how to swim. And on top of swimming coaches, my father took me to the swimming pool and would literally, like, hold me while I kicked in the water to like help me build my confidence. So same with riding a bike. Like nobody starts riding a bike without training wheels. You learn with training wheels. Then like my father taught me how to ride a bike. Then he took off one training wheel. Then he took off the other training wheel. And eventually I was riding by myself and I fell down a lot. And then with more practice, I stopped falling down at all. So dating, riding a bike, speaking French, swimming, all of these are skills. Skills are something you learn. Nobody is born knowing the skill of dating. Nobody is born knowing how to swim. Nobody is born knowing how to speak French. All of these things are trained. They might be trained in childhood. They might be trained in adulthood. But they are trained. You can pay a professional to teach you. Hence the word coach. So most women who reach out to me for matchmaking, what they need is dating skills acquired through coaching and courses. I myself had to acquire dating skills. So at this point, I have 20 years of dating experience. I'm an expert at it. I have experience in 10 different countries around the world with dating in so many different languages, so many different cultures, with men of so many different backgrounds. Men are the same everywhere, but dating culture differs so much everywhere you go. And so dating advice, generic dating advice does not work because it's very custom to where you live, and that is why it's a skill. Just like the French they speak in France and the French they speak in Cameroon are two different kinds of French, same language, but different ways of applying that language. And so most women who want matchmaking actually need dating skills rather than matchmaking. So matchmaking, because you're paying a human to spend their time and their high level skill, it is expensive and it should be expensive. Like a good matchmaker is very expensive. Just like a good tailor is expensive. Like a good baker is expensive. A good barista is going to sell you like a $5 coffee, not a $1 coffee. So matchmaking is the same. Like it is a premium service. It should not be cheap. If you are not paying a high price for matchmaking, you can be guaranteed it's bad and that the person selling you is bad. Like they are a bad matchmaker. They're not good at their job. They don't actually have the skill of dating, of matchmaking, they don't actually understand the whole process of finding the right person and starting a relationship. Okay, so we've talked about what people want matchmaking versus what they need. The vast majority, 99.9%, need dating skills. They don't need matchmaking. And like of the people who think they need matchmaking, even those with dating skills, what they really need is a talking to. Like I have to talk to my students and tell them, hey, like these are all the things you're doing that are blocking you from finding the right person. It's not matchmaking. They don't need introductions. What they need is a serious talking to and to reorganize their lives. So some of them, they're just traveling constantly. They're never home. If you're not home, how can you meet men who live in your city? You cannot. Some of them are just constantly exhausted because they are working all the time. They're traveling for work all the time. So they don't have energy, like spare energy to talk to the right guy. Some of them are rude because, yeah, they're just rude. God knows why. But they're like not polite. So like, why would a guy want to be around you if you're rude? So they just need to know how to be like nice to strangers. So none of these things require introductions to fix. So fix those things. Don't like jump to matchmaking, which is the wrong band-aid for the problem you're actually having. Now, who is matchmaking a good fit for? Matchmaking is great if you yourself are a unicorn and therefore you need an atypical person to match you. Let me give you a great example. Jennifer Aniston. She is 56, I think, at the time of filming this video. She looks amazing. She looks like she's 37 or maybe even younger. She is so fit and so toned, and like the average American dude at age 56 or 60, her age, is overweight and like ill and cannot walk, right? So she cannot match with the average American her age whatsoever. She is one of the wealthiest women in North America. So she's, again, not a match for the average American male who's broke and has $15,000 in credit card debt. She is incredibly successful. So she needs a man who can also match her level of like vision and execution and leadership and drive. Like, even if she's not working full time right now, like, she's that woman who's been so driven and organized her entire life. So she needs a man who like has that same vibe and vision and energy. And finally, she's the kind of person, she walks into a restaurant, like 35 people are asking her for a signature. So she needs a man either who has the same level of fame or who has no fame and can like protect her from that. So she's a unicorn, she needs a unicorn, and she's a great candidate for matchmaking. What tends to happen is women think they're unicorns, they think they're special, but they're just not dating. They're not actually meeting enough men. So if you're doing anything less than 1 date a week, your first goal is to hit that target of 1 date a week. That is when you have enough volume to have enough data points. If you're going on 4 dates a month, so minimum 1 date a week, and you're like, none of these men are the caliber I want, then and only then is when it's time to call a matchmaker. But if you're not yet at 1 date a week, if you don't even know how to get to 1 date a week, then A, watch my other videos on how to get to 1 date a week, and B, you need better dating skills. So men actually want to go on dates with you. The reason you're not at 1 date a week is because you're not putting any effort or energy into dating right now. You're not using dating apps, you're not meeting people organically, you're not talking to strangers, you are not going outside your routine ever at all, or you are too busy, maybe you're like not prioritizing this in any way, or you are, I don't know. I guess there could be millions of reasons a woman's not going on 1 date a week. But all of my successful students were going on 1 date a week at the time that they met their husband. And many were doing more, so like 2 or 3 dates a week. You need volume. Dating is a numbers game. Matchmaking makes sense when you're a unicorn like Jennifer Aniston, Jennifer Lopez, Emma Watson. All of these are women. They cannot walk into a restaurant. They cannot just go on Hinge and just go out with a random guy. Even if he's extremely well educated, he's successful, he's fit, he's attractive. Like, they are such unicorns in the female population that they need a male unicorn, and they cannot themselves go on an app. Even Raya is too pedestrian for them, so they need a matchmaker who can like buffer and protect them, because their fame will bring in too much of the wrong energy. And so in the same way, if you're not that kind of unicorn, you don't need a matchmaker. So one of my partners runs a 8-figure matchmaking company, and she works with women who can pay these fees. And those women think they're so special and they're such unicorns, but they just like aren't living in the places where they can like meet the caliber of men that they want. So those women are just, they have criteria that like don't match the men who are where they are, and they refuse to move. Hello. Any relationship requires some degree of flexibility. So we can talk about that in another video. But in this video, I want to cover why matchmaking is not a good fit for 99% of people, and why like the vast majority of people, they need coaching, aka a really good talking to. You need to pay someone to tell you the truth. Most people will not tell you the truth, which is why you need to find an expensive coach who you will pay top dollar to, and get that coach to tell you the truth about why you are not yet married, why you're not able to find a partner who you believe is your caliber. Or most of the category, they need dating skills. Just like how do you become an Olympic swimmer? You get a coach who teaches you how to swim better, right? It's really that simple. You go to the gym, you work out, you eat healthy, and you swim. That's how you become an Olympic swimmer. So it's the same with dating to find the right guy. You have to get better at dating. It is fundamentally a skill. It is not magic. Finding the right husband is not I sit at home and scroll Instagram and TikTok and my husband comes and knocks on your front door. No man is going to knock on your front door. The only person who's knocking on my front door is the delivery guy, because I placed an order. To find a husband, you need to invest in your dating skills. You need to get coaching. You need to invest in your body, your mind, by going to the gym, by drinking enough water, by eating healthy food, and you need to constantly be meeting single husband material men in your city. If you're not doing that, it's not going to happen, ladies.